All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to OneClass. My name is Kevin. I'll be teaching some economics today. A little bit of a background about me. I hold both a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in economics, and I also work day-to-day as an economist. What I'm going to do today is walk you through a couple of questions, just show you how our junior tutors did them, and add anything that I think may be beneficial to you. I was supposed to stream from 6 to 7, but was having some issues earlier with my computer, so I don't think I'm going to get through all the questions I had today. Get through what I can before 7, and anything else I can get going on in the future. So we can switch over to, okay, looks like it's working. Switch over to this screen here. Question 1. Let me just move out of the way. See me. All right, so question 1 reads, when the number of suppliers increases, the equilibrium price blank and the equilibrium quantity blank. Options are A, increases, A, increases, B, decreases, C, increases, decreases, D, decreases, or E, none of the above. Looks like we got a fair bit of questions here, so I'm probably not going to go through all of these, but I will touch on ones I think are important. So when the number of suppliers increases, equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. So we can draw our typical supply and demand graph, where we draw quantity on the x-axis and price on the y-axis. Let me draw this a bit better. Let me again try to draw this a bit better. And of course, supply is going to slope upwards, and demand is going to slope downwards, and the point where they meet is going to be the equilibrium price or the market clearing price. You know this P star and the corresponding quantity, we can denote Q star. So when the number of suppliers increases, that means the supply increases. This is characterized on the graph by a shift right of the supply curve. So we can label this S prime, and it shifts right. So we can see the new equilibrium. Of course, this is assuming that demand stays the same. So we can call that S prime. We can call this new price P prime, and this new quantity Q prime. So we can see that when the number of suppliers increases, the supply curve shifts to the right. The price falls from P star to P prime. Denote that better, P star. And the quantity increases from Q star to Q prime. So equilibrium price falls and the equilibrium quantity increases. So this corresponds with answer D, decreases, increases, and I believe that's what our junior tutor had written. And they've also added when more competitors enter the market, a large number of goods and services are available on the market, and when firms compete with each other, they lower their prices. True. Just gonna look through, see what else I think would be a good question to answer. These are all about farming and whatnot, which I really don't know much about, truthfully. So I'm probably not going to look deeply into that. I guess I can answer this the second one. We can move on to the next question set here. So question 6, question 2 for us, reads blank in prices is a variation in prices within a year. Our options are A, cyclicality, B, perishability, C, storability, D, seasonality, or E, none of the above. Our junior tutor said that the answer is D, and they've said that seasonal variations are the change in prices within a year when the price of goods and services vary depending on the season. So off the top of my head, that's like, I don't know, I would think when strawberries are in season and fresh and really tasty is when the price is charged highest for them. But when they're, out of season, nobody's really buying strawberries. A couple you can get, it's probably the seasonal change in pricing due to them. You can look into that a little further on your own if you would like, but I'm going to leave it there. And we can move forward. Same thing, I'm probably not going to answer all of these, but I might pick out a couple, maybe even just one, and we can move along. So this question reads, explain the law of diminishing marginal utility and give an example to illustrate it. And our junior tutor has written that the answer is that the law of diminishing marginal utility states that other things constant, the additional utility derived from the consumption of successive units of a good keeps on falling and finally becomes negative. For example, during the consumption of pizza slices, the utility derived from the consumption of the first slice will be the highest. Second slice will give a little less utility than that given by the first one, as our need to consume pizza has been somewhat satisfied or satiated by the consumption of the first slice. The third one will give further lower utility, as we have already consumed 2 slices, and so on. So a good example of this is the quantity of money somebody has and their utility over time. So I'm going to denote Q of $ for quantity of money on the x-axis, and on the y-axis, I will denote utility. And diminishing marginal utility was going to be shaped, let me try that again, shaped somewhat like that. Of course, never going quite flat, but each additional unit over time gives less. A good way to say this is somebody has, hypothetically, somebody has $0 and you were to give them like $5,000, call it 5K. This is going to make a very big difference to them, so this will be change in utility. Call it change in U1. So yeah, if you have $0, you essentially have no mobility of any kind. If you were to stumble into $5,000 somehow, this would make a very large difference to the quality of your life. You'd be able to buy some food, probably some housing, etc. And then on the other end of this graph, if we say that this person has $995,000 and they make another $5,000, giving them $1 million, we can see by drawing this out that the utility added from this extra $5,000 when you already have a very large amount of money is a very small amount. Because think about it, if you have $995,000, you are more well off than the majority of the population. There's probably an extra $5,000 is going to make a very small difference in the quality of your life. You already have all of your basic needs met, being housing, food, etc. So this is a good example of diminishing marginal utility. Let me look through the rest of these. Maybe we'll do the one at the end. What are the major determinants of the elasticity of demand? Our junior tutor has given a very in-depth answer, which is good. They said that the major determinants of the elasticity of demand are, first, the presence of substitutes. If many substitutes of the good are available, then the demand for the good will be more elastic. Two, that the income level of the consumer, income level of the consumer. Consumers with high income levels have less elastic demand than the ones with low income levels. High income level consumers aren't much affected by changes in the price of goods. So, say you're a millionaire, PS5 comes out, but you weren't able to get it right away. Now it's on the resale market for twice as much as it was before. Given that you have so much money, whether you're paying $500, if that's what it originally cost, or $1,000, probably doesn't make all that much difference to you. But if you don't have a lot of money, if you're lower income, you really want to get that PS5 on the first time around because you probably can't afford it on the resale market. Three would be the nature of the good. A necessity good will have more inelastic demand than the luxury goods, as they are basic needs for living. So that's like, if your income were to decrease, you're not going to stop eating food. You need food to survive. So that's a pretty inelastic good. But if you were to take a huge hit to your income, you might buy less video games. Four, level of price of the good. Demand for goods with a high price level is highly sensitive to changes in price than the ones with low price levels. Five, the postponement of consumption. If goods are such that their demand can be postponed, they have an elastic demand than the goods whose demands cannot be postponed. So for example, if you wanted to go buy a new set of couches, even though your old set's working fine, they've just gone out of style, that's not something you need to do immediately. So you've got a little more leeway when looking at new couches and whatnot, because you don't need them right away. So you can wait until they go on sale. Number six, number of uses of the good. If a good has many uses, its demand is elastic. As in case of a price increase, demand for only the few important uses of the product remains, and consumers reduce the use in less important uses of the good. In case of a product with limited uses, the demand is less elastic. Seven, share in total expenditure. Greater the share in the total expenditures of the good, the more elastic is the demand. 8, the time period of consumption. In short periods of consumption, the demand is less elastic than in longer periods. And number 9, habits of the consumer regarding the use of the product. Goods which are habits for consumers having an elastic demand. I don't really think there's anything I need to write or add to that. I thought that was very well explained, and they listed many determinants. I'm going to leave this here for a quick second if you guys need to take a picture. And then we can move on and maybe be able to get in one more question before I run out of time here. Public goods. Oh, that's a mouthful. All right. Public goods. Your government has decided to build a new recreational facility that will have weight rooms, a swimming pool, a running track, etc. Your government claims that this exercise facility will encourage people to get more exercise and be healthier. The cost of this project is $100 million. The government will finance this project by borrowing by issuing government bonds and from voluntary charitable contributions from the super rich. You actually see this pretty often, like maybe your local rec center is named after somebody. Or you might see this at universities and things of that nature. For example, McMaster has the DeGroote School of Business because the DeGroote family donates a lot of money, and there's many other universities that follow this trend. Access and entry into the new facility will be free of charge to all the people in the community. As construction continues on this rec center, you have no intention of ever using it. You certainly have not donated any money for the project. In fact, you think the whole thing is a waste of money. You prefer that the government spend more money subsidizing undergraduates by paying for their textbooks. However, you are not unwilling to benefit from exercise should it potentially make you healthier. Now, your government decides to build a huge museum of modern art in your city. Once again, construction costs are covered by government borrowing. Once built, the museum charges an admission of $12 for entry. With the case of the Modern Art Museum, the government hopes to pay for the ongoing cost of the project with admission fees. With the exercise facility, there is no obvious fee collected from the people who use it. What ways do you think the government hopes that it or the community will be compensated for this $100 million outlay of the new recreation hall? For full credit, give specific examples. I have one thing in mind particularly, but we'll see what our junior tutor says. Say that the recreation hall that is being set up by the government will assist the community as a whole purely on health grounds. It will assist people in improving their health and general well-being. Ultimately, this will result in productive people in the labor market, and hence per capita production will increase as people will now be healthy. If the government finance $100 million by borrowing, will finance this borrowing by increasing taxes in the future, such that the other increased part of the taxes charged will be devoted to financing swimming pool borrowings. On the other hand, the community will be compensated by being offered some jobs to work at the recreational facility, perhaps as security guards, accountants, managers of the rec facility, to minimize the level of unemployment. And our junior tutor said exactly what I was thinking. How did they word it here? In what ways do you think the government hopes that the community will be compensated for this $100 million outlay for the new recreational? If people are able to keep healthy, healthy citizens are at lower risk of a lot of health diseases, so probably less strain on the hospital and things of that nature within the city. Furthermore, healthy people are more productive, so if they're able to raise productivity, that would mean more output for the city, higher GDP per capita, less deaths, things of that nature. There are a wealth of benefits that come with having a healthy public. Outside of that, I really don't have anything to add to what our junior tutor said. I thought they did a good job. So. I might be able to fit one more here. Let me read over this quickly. Maybe I'll just go over the difference between accounting profit and economic profit quick. So we've got our accounting profit. This is kind of the classic use of the word profit. This is what you think when you think of profits. Our accounting profits. I'm going to denote profits with the symbol pi. And we can say that pi a, or accounting profits, are going to equal total revenue minus total cost, where total revenue is going to equal price times quantity, and total cost is going to be made up of fixed cost, and variable costs. So variable costs vary with the amount of units sold, and fixed costs are costs you must pay regardless of how many units you sell. Economic profits, on the other hand, may look the same at first glance, but the difference is that they include implicit costs or opportunity costs. All right, that's an E. You guys are just going to have to believe me. So we've got, again, our total revenue minus total cost. And our total revenue is, again, going to be made up of price times quantity. But this time, our total cost is going to be made up of fixed costs minus our variable costs minus our opportunity costs. So obviously, this term here is the difference. And if opportunity costs are equal to 0, then we can say that our accounting profits are going to be equal to our economic profits. That's an A, that's an E, take my word for it. And I'm going to wrap it up there. Just because I don't want to go into the next person's stream time. So thank you for watching today. Sorry I couldn't stream for a little longer. Been having computer issues. If you have any questions of your own, there should be a link below this video. You can click it and send in some questions for us to answer. Other than that, you can share it, like it, comment on it, however YouTube works. Without any further ado, this has been Kevin from OneClass. Thank you for watching. Have a nice night.